Kathryn Kuhlman, 1907–1976, was one of the most recognizable healing evangelists of the 20th century. Famous for her flowing gowns, emotional preaching style, and reported healing miracles, she became a household name within Pentecostal and Charismatic Christianity. Yet her ministry also attracted criticism from theologians, medical professionals, and even fellow Pentecostals, who debated the authenticity of her healing claims and the theological foundations of her ministry. This series examines Kuhlman's history and the controversies surrounding her. Kathryn Johanna Kuhlman was born in Concordia, Missouri, on May 9, 1907, into a conservative Methodist family. As a teenager, she experienced a conversion that she later described as the defining moment of her spiritual calling. Kuhlman began preaching in her late teens alongside her sister and brother-in-law, joining the growing revivalist tradition within American Protestantism. She was not affiliated with one specific denomination, giving her ministry broad ecumenical appeal. Kuhlman gained national influence beginning in the 1940s through radio broadcasts, later expanding to television in the 1960s. Her programs, including I Believe in Miracles, were broadcast across the United States. Her healing services, characterized by emotional worship, orchestral music, and dramatic testimonies, drew crowds of thousands. Some attendees claimed instantaneous healing from cancer, paralysis, heart conditions, and other ailments. Kuhlman insisted she had no healing power of her own, stating that the Holy Spirit alone healed people. Her famous line, I believe in miracles, because I believe in God, became her signature phrase. 1. The Burroughs-Waltrip marriage scandal. One of the earliest and most public controversies involved her marriage to evangelist Burroughs-Waltrip. Waltrip left his wife and children to pursue ministry with Kuhlman. The two married in 1938. This led to accusations of adultery, unethical behavior, violating biblical teaching on divorce and remarriage. Kuhlman later admitted the marriage was a mistake, ultimately divorcing Waltrip in 1947. She described the episode as the greatest failure of my life. Many early Pentecostal leaders distanced themselves from her during this period. 2. Questions about healing claims. Kuhlman's healing services generated intense debate. Supporters described extraordinary recoveries from serious illnesses, but critics questioned whether the healings were documented. Dr. William Nolan, a surgeon, investigated Kuhlman's healing claims and published A Surgeon in Search of a Miracle in McCall's Magazine, 1974. Nolan followed several people who claimed healing at her meetings and concluded many experienced only temporary emotional uplift, not lasting medical improvement. Kuhlman's organization kept few medical records. Most testimonies were based on self-reporting during services. Critics argued this lack of verification contributed to exaggeration or misunderstanding of medical outcomes. Pentecostal historian David Harrell concluded that while some healings were likely psychosomatic, others were unexplained, and Kuhlman believed sincerely in their authenticity. The debate over her healing services continues in Pentecostal scholarship and remains unresolved. 3. Theatrical style and criticism from conservative Christians. Kuhlman's dramatic stage presence, white gowns, sweeping arms, emotional music, was criticized as overly theatrical or manipulative. Evangelicals such as Walter Martin and John MacArthur later argued that her services emphasized experience over doctrine and could mislead the spiritually vulnerable. Even some Pentecostal leaders complained that she drew attention to herself rather than to God. Supporters countered that her style reflected personality, not deception. Thousands were spiritually encouraged. Some healings were medically verified. 4. The Word of Faith and Charismatic Controversies. Although not part of the Word of Faith movement, Kuhlman was often associated with hypercharismatic practices, including emotionalism, spontaneous healings, emphasis on the Holy Spirit's manifestations. Some theologians criticized her teachings as insufficiently doctrinal or biblically grounded. Others argued she remained within Orthodox Christian faith, though with charismatic emphases. Kuhlman avoided theological debates and frequently said, I don't know how God heals, I only know that He does. Kuhlman's legacy. Kathryn Kuhlman's legacy is complex. Positive contributions. Influenced early charismatic renewal in Protestant and Catholic circles. Popularized healing services in mainstream Christian practice. Inspired later leaders such as Benny Hinn and Oral Roberts. Criticisms include lack of medical verification, emotional manipulation concerns, controversial marriage, unclear doctrinal teaching. Despite the controversies, she remains one of the most influential healing evangelists in modern Christian history. Kathryn Kuhlman's life and ministry occupy a unique place in 20th century American Christianity. Her healing services inspired millions and shaped the trajectory of the charismatic movement, yet her legacy is marred by unresolved questions about her healings, her personal life, and her theatrical style. While critics argue her ministry lacked doctrinal clarity and medical credibility, supporters maintain she was a sincere vessel through whom God worked. Ultimately, the controversies surrounding Kuhlman highlight the ongoing tension between charismatic expression, emotional experience, and theological accountability in modern Christian practice.